All right. Hello and welcome to the Nix Hour. And actually, before I start, I need to make sure I can read chat. So hold on just 1 second. Okay, this should work. All right. So before I start today, I just want to briefly mention NixCon. So NixCon 2024 is happening and it's in October 25th to 27th. Actually, I can... Here's a very neat command, cal. I think it's available by default on NixOS even. Gets you a nice calendar. And so this is in just over 3 months from now. So yeah, and the reason I'm mentioning it today is because it's not actually in here, but the ticket sale is starting this weekend. So here's the link to the ticket sale. Yeah, and they, well, it was announced on Discourse that it will be going live this Saturday. It's not mentioned directly in here, but yeah, it's going to be this Saturday, so might want to check that out. All right, but yeah, I'm going to be there for sure. If you want to join, would love to see you there. But yeah, so today we'll continue writing just some packages. I feel like it worked pretty well last time, and we'll see how it goes. We do have some questions here, and we can maybe get to those. So last time, let me actually go there. So we did it in Nix packages, and specifically qubit torrent. This one we opened last time. And so one question here is about it seems like a nightmare to maintain the SHA-256 fields. What tooling is there to maintain those? And so in our case, we actually don't need to maintain those ourselves. We wrote a small update script that does it for us. So we put let me switch to the unified view here. And let me hide this. So in our case, we wrote a JSON file that contains the SHA. And so we can easily just regenerate that. And we did that with an update script. But in most cases, most packages don't have that. So I think it would be good to just look at how it works if we don't do it this way. And there's also some like default update scripts that can be used instead. And so yeah, let's take a look at those. I'm actually not sure if that's in the Nix packages manual, but let's take a look. So that's like, let me search for like update script. Update script. Section on automatic package updates in the package contributor guide. This one, let's see. So there's update script. We can point to the file. And here there is periodically tries to update all packages that have an update script. So that's the RYNTM bot that does that. And it looks, common pattern is to use Nix update script attribute, which runs Nix update. So for simple packages, this is often enough. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So Nix update script, let's take a look at that. And that actually just runs Nix update. Makes sense. So let's take a look at Nix update. Hold on. Where did this go? Here it is. Nix update. Yeah, so what does that do? Nix update updates version source hashes of Nix packages. It is designed to work with Nix packages, but also other package sets. So it can do things like figure out the latest version from GitHub, PyPy, so that might actually work in our case. Build and run the resulting package, commit updated files, and so on. Okay, I mean, that looks pretty good. Let's try it out for the package we wrote and see if that works. So I need the branch name here. Call it this. Let me switch to this one. All right. And I'm going to try qubit torrent exporter in the package. Instead of having our custom update script here, let's just use the one from here. So Nix update script, just like this. And I actually have no idea how that works. I haven't really touched that much before. So let's see. So Nix update script. And actually, I guess I want this, let me actually do like a Nix FMT over the current file. That is not correct. What is problem here still? Oh no, now it works. Okay, so probably it won't work with this because we have our custom like source info here. The default is to have this inlined. And so I'm actually going to, let's open another window here. Let's go here, qubit torrent exporter. Just get source info. So the version is this. Gonna inline this. And then the SHA, I'm gonna also inline like this. All right, and so I think Nix update should probably auto replace these. Although we have a bit of a special one here because it's in base 16 format, which is kind of unusual. So, but let's try. I'm gonna go to the root of Nix packages. I'm gonna run this one, maintainer scripts update, and then we did this before last week. So let's try this, see what happens. And it's gonna fetch. What did it fetch? It fetched Nix update. Oh, that's good. So try running that, and updating is done. Did it change anything? It didn't change anything. So let's try using an older version. And we also did that last week. We tested the update script by having an older version here. So I guess I'll just do like a 0 hash, or I'll change one number in the hash. Maybe it grabs for the existing one. So we change that 2 to a 1. Run it again. And that did work. Oh, and it did actually replace it with the base 64 hash instead. All right, so that actually did work pretty well. And I do want to check how it actually works as well. Like how does it know it needs to update this file? How does it know the correct attribute? When does it fail? So I want to look at Nix update scripts, which is not a file directly. So let me look for Nix update script equals. Okay, it's defined in here. That's in packages, common updater, Nix update. All right. I mean, we've seen this before. Oh, but attrib path is here. That kind of looks relevant. So we get the exe, some args, and then if the attrib path is not null, then you pass an attrib path as well. We don't pass any attrib path here, so I'm wondering how it figures it out. Probably through this maintainer scripts update the next thing. So let's actually see here, how does that work? Oh, lots of code here. So, well, in here we actually pass the thing. So if you remember, we called it with argstring package. And so if you look in here, what does it do with that package? So package, where does it get used? Somewhere. Not here, not here. Is it this one? No, it's also not this one. Packages, oh here. If package is not equals null, then package by name, and package by name gets it based on the attribute path as we pass it in here. I want to see it also does a split string on the dot. So this also works for like nested sets. Probably, right, that would look like, right, like Python packages dot, I suppose. Okay, so yeah, it uses that to kind of figure something out. Where is it? Here, so package by name, then gets the attrib path, and how does it know the files? We have the attrib path, inherit package, update script, support features, add path. Is there like a position in here somewhere? Oh yeah, position. It's probably gonna get it from there somewhere. Yeah, anyways, let's not look further into this. In the end, Nix update is gonna get called, and let's also briefly check Nix update. I'm gonna do build Nix update.source. This way I can directly, well, in this case I can, cd into the source result directory itself. And in here, we can, well, let's take a look at like bin maybe, Nix update. Yeah, bin here, init. Yeah, okay, and it takes things like files, build, format. Yeah, a bunch of things. But yeah, I guess that all gets figured out. So in many cases, you can just do this. And it's a bit, I'm not a big fan of it because it's very implicit, and I have kind of very little confidence in that working by default. But I suppose if you just try it out and it works, then it should probably be fine. But I'm like worried of it breaking when you, for example, right, like what if you move it to a JSON file, these hashes, would it still work? Well, we could try it out. So like, I mean, yeah, let's undo the changes from before. Let's get this again, source info. I'm gonna copy this, redo, paste, copy. Then gonna go in here and let's just update the source info to have an older version here. And let's see if that then works. I suspect that might break. So, and hopefully it's gonna actually fail. Let's run this. Let's just check that we have update script here. Yes, we have. And yeah, that didn't work. And it didn't even give us an error. So yeah, that can, I feel like it should give an error in such a case. But yeah, so gotta watch out a little bit. You're still inheriting version of the source from the JSON there. Yes. I mean, that's what I wanted to test now. Whether it could figure that out automatically, that it's the version, the file that provides a version. But I guess it can't. Anyways, yeah, in most cases, that is not a big problem. Like if you pick a random package in Nix packages, it won't use any like custom update script. So let's do like this. Let's fd lists all the files and the directories. I'm going to restrict it to only files, only to Nix files. And then I'm going to shuffle those, pick one, and let me open a random one in Vim. And if you look at that, it just has the hash there. And that's what's the case in 99% of packages in Nix packages. Yeah, hash is also here. Yeah, but so update scripts are the way to go. In most cases, Nix update script should work. There's also others. We could take a look at what else exists. So I think that's in packages. Was it in build support? Not quite. Update scripts. Update scripts, where was that? In common updater. Here. Combinators. Ooh, that looks interesting. So let's manipulate update scripts as recognized by update.nix. Very experimental with instability almost guaranteed. All right. But I do like combinators. That does sound pretty good to me. Okay, yeah, I don't want to go too much into detail there. Let's go to the other. Oh, I see the message was a bit older. Let's go to the other question here that was asked. I'm not sure how far we can get into that, but let's see. So I have a question for a package I'm working on, and it's this one. Ente web. Oh, let's do it like this. Okay. So this is a web frontend client for a server application that you can self-host. Upstream specifies that you can set an environment variable for its build. This bakes in the endpoint where the client application will then look for the backend. Upstream build instructions say this, and so you specify the endpoint for the build itself, which is kind of weird. It should ideally be customizable at runtime. So the question is, how would I package that for Nix packages? An override? Not sure what the cleanest way would be to do this so the user can set the endpoint easily and it causes as little rebuilds as possible. Yeah, let's take a look here. So what does this do? So yarn, some updates here. Hold on, let me look at the individual commits. So we have some formatting, some yarn builders, some new yarn builders. Okay, a whole bunch of dependencies, and here is Ente. Okay, and is it already specified in here? I guess it's not. I don't see it. But okay, let's check out the peer. I'm gonna copy the number. I'll go to Nix packages. Let's actually reset the changes we made here. I'm gonna do GHCO and then the number. That's the GitHub CLI, very convenient. Oh, yep. So let me just try to build it. See, just to make sure it works. There is a red CI failure thing here. I'm not sure if that is a problem. Fail to merge. There might be some failures, but let's see. And meanwhile, let's also check out the source. So again, here I'll build again into web.source. Oh, and this doesn't have a source directly. Let me see where it's specified. So that's make direction. Oh, there is a source, but it's using the web subdirectory of the source. This does work. There is perhaps a more standard way of doing that, which is source root. And I believe the convention nowadays is to do final address. Well, I guess in this case we should use final address plus source. Oh, wait, no, it's the name. Yeah. Kind of odd, but I think it works like that. Although I think actually there the problem is that it will copy the entire directory, but in this case actually there's a sparse checkout, so it will only clone the web subdirectory. It will only get the web subdirectory. And here, this should be web. Now, this might be more conventional. I think that should give more or less the same thing. But okay, so with that, let's go in here and build the source. All right, that works now. Go into the result. Okay, so that's the source. And which variable is it there? It's this one, next public ente endpoint. So if we just search for that, where is it actually used? So in the README here, it says something. Let me just check. Ente endpoint. So that's web apps photos env.local. And here, process.env.next public ente endpoint. So it looks like maybe this is at runtime that it only reads this, which would be good news because then we don't need to do any rebuilding to make it work. Now let's see. I would like to have that finish building. Let's wait. So this is origins.typescript. process.env. Yeah, I think that should probably work just by, yeah, just at runtime. And so, well, I guess we have to test it out. But yeah, so if I guess the alternative, oh, let me see, the build package has no executable, just HTML plus JS that can be hosted via Nginx. I see, so in that case, oh, it finished building, very nice. Let me see what it is. Oh yeah, so it's just a bunch of HTML. And is there an index? There's an index. Can we actually just open that? We kind of can. I guess it probably doesn't quite work without something extra. Is there like, what does it show in here? Yeah, that might not quite work. Okay, anyways, we could try even setting up a test. Is there a test already in here, perhaps? I guess not, no. But that would be interesting, actually. Yeah, let's try writing a test for this. So Nix's tests, this is where all the tests are declared, would be an appropriate spot. And so we do nt-web, I suppose. And let me just copy from another one of those. Maybe simple. Yeah, that's all. That looks pretty good. So nt-web, copy from simple. I'll just remove this for now. Machines, imports, profiles, minimal. Seems fine to me. And so let's just try running Nginx here. So we also need the server backend running, I suppose. But let's do that a bit later. So Nginx enable, then I think we have virtual hosts dot, let's do, what is this, like localhost? I think that should work. And then I think there's settings for like root or something. And so we would put get packages from here, packages.ntweb, and that might more or less work. You can test run it without backend by just serving the package as web root. Yep, let's try that. So we start all the machines, we wait for, so this machine here, variable, comes from this one here. In our case, we just have one, so let's just keep it the same. We wait for this unit. We're also going to wait for Nginx, I suppose. And then let's do machine.succeed. I think that's the function you can use to just run some command and get the, I'll get the result. I don't think it prints the result by default. Let's try this out. It's on localhost, just like this maybe. And let's just see what happens with this. So this one, I'll actually undo this here because I don't want to have to rebuild this. And I'm not sure if it matters very much. Okay, so we have the server here, the test here. I think we can just go ahead and do like this. Yeah, just the next build of that file. Let's see what happens. Actually, I think I want to do it like this instead. There's a, by default, if you run this, it's going to run the test in a Nix build. But I actually want to do it a bit more interactively. So I'll do driver interactive, which gives me a binary I can run to run the test, to run the thing just on my system without, not inside a Nix build. Yeah. So getting qemu, that works well. And I guess at some point we might actually want to, yeah, we might actually want a bit more in here because if we run this VM, we can't actually see anything. Like we can't open a browser in here. Although we could also set up some network so we can connect to the machine from our own network. That might be doable, although I'm not sure how to do that. Yeah, but let's see. Let's just have it build the thing for now. All right, finished. And so here we have a binary. And all right, now we get into the shell for the test. Hold on, let me just exit. Yes. Let me just make sure we have a working terminal here without any weirdness. So I can run the same commands as here. So I can do start all, starting the VM. We even get the window. So here we could benefit from actually seeing the thing. In our case, we just have like a minimal setup. So there's no like display environment or anything like that. Okay, let me enter a bit here. Now, machine wait for unit, I guess we don't need any of these. These are only for like interactive use or for script use. So now I'm just gonna do succeed of curl HTTP localhost this. Let's see if that works. That seems to work. Yes. Okay, and actually, I guess let's see. How would we pass the environment variable there? I guess actually something we could check for, and I'm gonna jump around a bit here. I want to look at the result again. So this is the result. Oh, that's the test driver. I don't want that one. I want anti-web, the actual result. And I'm gonna not put that into result, but let's put it into ente. Okay, we have the ente symlink here now. So let's go in here and grep for this one again. Oh, and it's really messy. Let's see, can we find it in this mess? Okay, let's see. Let's print the file name as well. So pages app static. How does it get that? That's a good question because it seems to be still here. I guess honestly I don't get web development a whole bunch. So yeah, you can pass an envar to a static site. Yeah, maybe it loads some config. That could be it. Yeah. I mean, it did say like process in the source. But yeah, let me do it like this. So I'll grep for this, and now I'm gonna search with my terminal ente oh, here it is. A.env. Well, I think I mean this is just the same thing, right? Oh, here it is. Next public ente endpoint. So A.env. And so this looks like it's probably going to be the process, but honestly, I don't quite know how that's going to work in a static page. I think the process.env is replaced at build time with the actual value. I see. I mean, in this case, well, I guess let's try it out. So if we go into the source or in the build ente web. Now in here I'm going to set the right, and I guess that's really a question. So and that has an actual answer, and probably a good answer here is actually making an override for this. So I'm going to say let's say public endpoint. Let's call it that. We'll set a default. Hold on, should we set it? What would be the default? There shouldn't really be a default, I suppose. Well, I guess no, it cannot have a default. So apparently it works also without any server. So yeah, let's just assume that's fine. And so we could do it here. So we could just say, what is it? Next public endpoint equals public endpoint. But this has a problem that it causes rebuilds every time you change it. And that's something we'd like to avoid. Also, generally it would be env dot is a good practice. Makes it clear that it's an environment variable. And let's see, how long did that actually take to build? Let's just try it out again. Because actually, if it takes a really short time to build, then it doesn't really make sense to like split this up into more derivations. Like, yeah. Okay, what is this? Env attribute can only contain derivation string, boolean, or integer attributes. Is of type null. That is a very good point. So I guess we'd want to do, oh, you know what we can do? Oh, no, we can't do it here. This is a bit annoying. Oh, we can do this. We can say lib.optional attrs public endpoint not equals null. Then we set this one. That should work. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, that built immediately because we aren't setting it right now. And so how you would set it is, well, in this case, we can't easily do that. We'd have to use -e here to like do something like import ./.ntweb.override public endpoint equals, and then let me just do, example.nix. .nix is not a top-level domain yet, I suppose. But if we do that, let's just see how long it takes. So if it would have been only like a couple seconds, would have been good. But in this case, it looks like it's a bit more complicated. But actually, it's going to be hard to split this up into a derivation because it is actually yarn that is supposed to replace this variable. But I do have an idea that might work. From the code, it seems like the endpoint can be configured on the client side. It seems like the endpoint can be configured on the client side. Well, maybe let's see. Let's see if, now that we actually set this, if it ends up in the result. Because then it should work fairly well. So let's just hope this doesn't take much longer. Meanwhile, I'll go back here and maybe, yeah, we can maybe do, I'm not sure. Anyway, let me just close the VM here. It shouldn't take much longer. Yes, you can, but if it's anything, you would want to have your own server as default. Oh, yeah. All right, so that built. Now let's look at the result. Oh, that's nt. It's not there anymore. That's a good sign. Is example.nix, example.com here? It is there. Let me just grep for this, example.com. Yeah, so it's here. That looks pretty good. Okay, then my suggestion is to essentially insert another derivation in here. And so I'm going to do it like this. Let's do the kind of, well, this is kind of the unwrapped and wrapped thing. You could also put it into separate attribute, but I think it's going to be fine as is. So unwrapped is going to be this one. I'm going to indent the entire thing. Okay, so just maintain the same thing for now. And so now instead of actually putting this endpoint into here, we could do something like Nix packages nt public endpoint, like a variable that is indistinguishably something that you probably wouldn't have in the source otherwise. We can even say like Nix packages build anti-public endpoint. And then I'm going to always set this. All right. And now down here, I'm going to do a, what should that be? I guess it could be a run command. It could be a symlink join. Maybe let's do a run command. So run command, this is also going to be empty. I would want to copy most of the things it has as attributes. It's like meta, for example, is an important one. Actually, I guess we can just have meta here, actually. So meta doesn't really make sense here, so let me just move it. Yeah, we can move it down here. So this maintains meta, and then here I'm going to run the command. And what should the command do? It should copy everything from the unwrapped one. So that would be a cp-r maybe. And I'm also going to do no preserve equals mode, so it doesn't copy it as read-only. So this is the unwrapped one. Copy that to out. And then we're gonna do a substitute in place of, I guess, everything. Maybe let's use a set here. So set dash e, and do we actually need that? We might not need that. Dash I, so I is in place. And then I'm gonna take that variable we have up here, copy it, and do the set thing with s dash thing we want to replace, and now the actual thing we want. So that's the public endpoint here now. This could get messy, like this is an escaping hazard here. So maybe we should do that a bit more carefully. I know that substitute in place can handle that a bit better. So maybe let's do that. Although set also has variables, I think. Hold on, set. Is there like expression file? Maybe I don't quite know how that would work. Yeah, let me just use substitute in place instead. So substitute in place. And which file does it occur in? Oh, in 2 files. We could replace it for all files, I suppose. So like out dash star star dash star, and then I think we need set opt glob star or something like that for bash to work with that. Is it shopped? I think it's shopped. Let me briefly read. Should this be some function in pass-through, it will be an interface to consume this package. That could also be an option. Yeah, actually pass-through does also sound pretty good here. For now, I'll just do this and we can change it later as well. Run command, let's get this in scope. So let's see, copy, we set the glob star thing. I guess let's only match JSON files because why not? And so these are all the files, and then I'm going to do a replace of this one with the public endpoint. And now to make sure it's escaped properly, I'm going to do lib.escape shell arg of the public endpoint. But actually we can do it even better. We can set it as an environment variable. That also avoids this problem. So I can just do env dot next package. I guess let's do it this way. And then we can just do this. Next package build, enter public endpoint. All right, I think that might work. Let's try it out. So go here, build the same thing again. We will have to wait for it to build once. Actually, I also see here a problem. We don't have the version in the derivation name. So I'm actually going to copy the same name we have from the one above. So that will be unwrapped.name. Yeah, and we're just going to wait for it now. It shouldn't have to rebuild the above here anymore, because this always has the exact same string here. That should work fairly well. Should this be in some function in past? Oh, you're right. It will make Hydra build the abstract package and only require users to rebuild the specific one. Yes. I mean, that should also work here. I guess we aren't handling the endpoint being null in this specific case here. So yeah, let's actually work towards the alternative as well, of having like a pass-through that does this. How would we do that though? So pass through, and what would we call it? We could say with endpoint, for example. I'm going to set this as, so we could do it like this. We could say public endpoint as a single argument. I think that's often not something great because, well, if you change the name or want to pass additional arguments, it's going to break. So I recommend doing this instead, passing an attribute set with that. And then down here, we would put pretty much this here. So let's do this. Okay. And then I can actually unindent the entire thing again. So yeah, that's good. Unindent the entire thing. And now we have a unwrapped here. How did we get a reference to that? And that we can do with final address dot final package, I believe. Final address dot final package. And same here. And let's see if that works. Actually, this did fail, but now we should be able to easily change it. But it's not the override thing anymore. So that could also be an option, but let's do it the other way around now. Actually, it's going to be easier because we can do this int web, then with endpoint. And the cool thing about this here, public endpoint as an attribute set argument, is you can also pass it here. So you can say argstring public endpoint example.com. Well, at least I think that should work. So I'll put it to int as well. Okay, so it did fail. Globstar off. Is it set -o globstar instead? Invalid option name. Man bash star globstar. That does look correct. Is it set? Oh, wait, how does that work? Shopped. And what is -o? Is it just, I mean, shopped globstar? Does that not work? That really doesn't work. Wait, do I need to read this more properly? How does that work? So we have enable -s. Fair enough. Should enable it. I guess it just printed it by default. Okay, and then we get a whole bunch of warnings, which I guess is fine. There's probably a better way to do this. And actually, yeah, this replace here that we're using is actually deprecated. So we should use one that either fails, warns, or is quiet all the time. In our case, none of these are really that great. Like, we should have at least one file that has this string, but for now, I guess we'll do the warn one. That's the kind of like explicitly warn, but don't fail if there's no matches. All right, now let's get into the result and grep for example.com, and it is indeed here. And if we try to rebuild this with a different one, so let's try example.nix, that should build very quickly. Very nice. Now this is indeed not ideal. Could we work around that? Like we could first grab or find the file that needs to be replaced with it. Clubstar lobsters enable the. Why did I really write lobster? No. Oh, lobster. I see it now. So yeah, maybe let's do it like this. Let's do a grep. How does that work? How does grep work? The result grep. Now example.nix. Oh, hold on. Enter. Grep example.nix. And I think it's -r. Can we print just the file that it matches? Files with matches -l. Okay, it's the same one. And do we need -l, -r? We do. Okay, that sounds pretty good. So in here, we're going to do -rl. We're going to grep for this one. This is a bit messy. I'm not super happy with this. And oh, and also, well, this is not a reg. Well, grep matches regexes, but if there were any special characters in here, like a dot, then we'd have to watch out for this. But in our case, we don't, so that's fine. So we get. I think we can use something like read array -a files. Then we pipe into its std in the result of this one. Let's just see if that works. Like bash is still. I feel like you never really fully know bash, so it's interesting. Exit 1, just to make sure we don't build it. And let's see, that indeed doesn't work. -t it might be. Let me just try some random ones. Yeah, this seems to be working better, although we have files. Is this here and vars and something else, which is kind of weird. Oh, we need to actually get the source. So that's out like this. Okay, now we have files, we have next door, blah, blah, blah. Some 2 JSON files, so that seems to be working correctly. And now we could it's good to make sure that we actually make sure it gets replaced. So we could do something like if the number of files is 0, then fail. My preferred way of doing that is something like this. I think it's files. This, and then we need to escape this because it's Nix, and this is an escape sequence, or needs an escape sequence. So this is the number, and then we can use like an arithmetic expression in bash just to check if this is 0. Then do something. In this case, we say, I don't know, failed to find endpoint replacement string. Yeah, let's do that and then exit 1. Just as a small safety mechanism. Okay, and then we do for all of the files. So now we can do this. We can say expand the files like this. I think that should work. And actually we need quotes here as well. A bit messy, but I think it works. All right, and then replace warn. And then we can say replace fail, I believe. Was that the one? I thought it was the one. Actually, let me move this one down here a bit. Yeah, like this. All right, that should work. And no warnings. Sounds pretty good. Nt, and let's grab, for example, .nix. It's still here. And that looks pretty good to me. Are there any downsides to just using -- replace quite and letting it always trying to replace? The problem with that is that you won't get, like, if something changes in here, like let's say we always do replace quiet. I mean, yeah, here, replace fail. The purpose of that is so that if we make mistake here, like X packages, well, I guess that would still actually replace. But let's say Nix package _ build, it should fail. Yeah, error pattern doesn't match anything in file. Whereas with replace quiet, it doesn't. So replace quiet. Oh, I guess it's not replace quiet. It's something else. Anyways, yeah, that's the reason why the -- replace option is to be deprecated, because it doesn't tell you when the pattern doesn't get matched, and that's a kind of easy mistake that can be made. Oh, did I? Oh, quiet. Yeah, it's the different quiet. Yeah, so that wouldn't complain about that. So this should be preferred. All right, this turned out to be a bit more complicated. I think there's probably a nicer way of doing this, but it works. You can even do like should also be possible with set somehow, although set, I guess, doesn't warn when it doesn't get replaced at all. But yeah. So that looks decently good to me. So we can actually remove this one. Could we write a test for this still? We only have like 5 more minutes. But let's see. So maybe actually, so we import modules profiles minimal here. I think there's also a graphical one here. Yes. The graphical, what does that contain? It contains an X server, display manager, pulse audio, system packages. That might be pretty decent, although we also need to actually be able to log in. So I would actually like to go in here, NixOS modules, profiles. I think QEMU guest graphical keys. I guess it's not in here. It's in somewhere like installer. Yeah, installer CD DVD. Not. I don't think anybody's using CDs anymore. But there's some good like templates in here. No, not templates, like ready-made configs. And so like graphical base, GNOME, Plasma. I guess let's maybe pick this one. So this also has things like the NixOS user, auto login. This is kind of what you get when you download the ISO. So I'll copy this. Just don't put this in the actual test in the end result. I just want to see if it works. So installer, CD DVD, installation CD graphical. Hold on. Installation CD graphical Plasma, like that. And now let me try this again. Yes, I do want to quit. If I build this, it's probably going to take a bit longer because it has a whole bunch of dependencies to fetch. Yeah, glad to help. It could read config.json from the server, for example, or some cookie or something like that. Yes. And actually, what was the warning here? Does that make sense? User root has multiple of the options, hash, password. That does not sound great, but that might be a consequence of the make test Python thing, also setting some NixOS modules to make stuff work. Yeah, I'm actually not sure what's gonna happen with that. Might be fine. Might be fine. Yeah, test config. I can't immediately see anything. Let's see. How long does this take? I should have probably used Nix output monitor. That would give us a much better idea of how long we have to wait still. Yeah. Yeah, maybe what I can also do is just push this somewhere. It's actually the kind of neat thing is that you can make PRs against PRs. So this is the fork and the branch here that I want to make it against. I'm not sure if there's an easy way to do that, but I'm going to do like a push to my own fork. Oh, and I think it's origin in my case. All right, push this here. It should give me the thing here about being able to make a PR. And I should be able to pick the target here. Can I do this? I cannot. So I think I need to actually go in here and change the URL. Like this. All right, and now enter. Oh, is it this one, I guess? Oh, and that does not have any commits in it. So I actually still need to push this. So let me do this, run command well. I won't clean it up like entirely, and you don't need to like maintain my signature as well. Feel free to use the code as you need, as you wish. Customizable endpoint. Push this. All right, and now going here, refresh this. There should be a commit. There isn't. Why is there not? Is up to date with all commits from this one. Switching the base. No, I don't want to switch the base. This does look pretty much correct to me. Oh. Oh, whoops. I just pushed to your fork. Yeah. Yeah, people that have commit access can do that. Whoops. Yeah, so there's this commit here. Feel free to just undo that or push over that as necessary. But I wanted to show this here. Push to origin head. Well, I don't need the -u here anymore. Yep. So if we had this working, actually, let me just to show that it actually should work, I'm just going to commit an empty thing here. Let's do git commit, allow empty. Let me also do this, allow empty message. One of the best commits. I think I just need to do git push origin head, maybe this. Okay, and now in here, where is it? Here. We should have one commit. Yes, this one, no commit message. Yeah, so then you can make a PR against the fork itself from another fork. But yeah, I won't do this here since I pushed it already. Yes. We are pretty much out of time. Let me try run the Nexus test here. That I'd like to see start all. I'd like to see the kind of display manager working. And if we are lucky, we can even go to Firefox and check out the server. All right, it's resizing the window on its own. I think that's a decent sign, I suppose. Yeah, I'm not sure this is working. Oh, it is working. It's just kind of slow, which is fair. And sorry, not much is happening right now. But I don't want to get. There was an error. It's gonna be fine. So Firefox, in this case, we didn't set the endpoint, so it might just be, it might not matter in this case. Oh, and the keyboard layout is different. I need to look at the keys actually. HTTP. Oh, everything is kind of messed up. I should be able to just do localhost, although I don't know the oh no, the port should matter. It's just the normal one. It is very slow though. I fear my computer might freeze from doing this. Yeah. I think we might have to give up on this. Anyways, yeah, let's end it here. Thanks everybody for joining, and see you again next week.